Technology never ceases to amaze me. I'm sitting in a hotel room in Sheffield at the moment. I'm just on my way back from the Institute of Taxation Autumn Residential Conference. And I want to pass on some of the information that I gathered over this last weekend. Today I'm going to concentrate on exit strategies for owner managers, but we can only just scratch the surface here. And if you want to use any of these strategies, then it is important that you do get in touch so we can talk about it. In terms of the strategies, there are various routes you can go. There's family succession, trade sales, management buyouts, all the usual sorts of ways of either leaving your business behind or of terminating the business and liquidating it. Succession, particularly family succession, is a whole subject in itself, so I'm not really going to cover that today. But what I want to concentrate on is what happens where there's no clear succession path, where the next generation doesn't want to take on the business. Now, an obvious route is a trade sale. Now, this might be to a competitor, which goes a little bit against the grain because you've been competing against them for years. But it may be that they want your knowledge, your intellectual property, they want to get a foothold in your market, or it might be somebody who just wants to expand their market share. Management buyouts, or MBOs, these sound quite technical, but it can be that the management team that's behind you is interested in taking on the business, or it may just be a single manager who is considering just taking on the business themselves. But the price you get for your business may well be a lot lower than you would get in a trade sale because they may not be able to raise the finance. So consider deferred consideration. Another way of moving in this direction, but not going all out, is to sell a significant minority holding to a manager or a management team, and you retain control of the business and possibly sell the rest of it at a later date. Companies buying their own shares, and this has been legal for a number of years now, and is very tax efficient because it means that the company finances the deal. It may be that the company has surplus cash resources, or it may be that the company is better able to go out into the market and raise the necessary finance. There are some detailed rules, but we'll come back to those another time. When it comes to a liquidation, now this is very common with personal service companies where you're the sole director and you perhaps got a large amount of cash built up, and how do you get the money out? Well, liquidation is the obvious route. It may also be appropriate where there's perhaps a death in the family and there's no obvious buyer for the business and the next generation don't want to take it on. Or it could be the result of irreconcilable management differences. Now, two very useful tools when it comes to disposing of a business are the new investors relief and entrepreneurs relief, and these both result in capital gains tax at 10%. The consideration that you get for your business or part of your business could be cash, could be loan notes, and there's different types of loan notes which have different tax considerations. Deferred consideration is very common these days, where you just agree with the buyer that they're going to pay for the business over time. It might be that you're issued shares in your acquiring company, but remember this is an investment decision and the shares can go up and down in value. So there's different considerations. There's not only the question of how any deal is financed, but also the tax effects of whatever route you choose to go. Now, next week I want to come back to look at some of these issues in more detail, and in particular the difference between the new investors relief and entrepreneurs relief, which has now been around for a number of years. Now, there's a lot of considerations in any of these sorts of deals, and so it's important that you do take professional advice. Now, we're always here to help with any of these situations. As you can imagine, we've been involved in a number of these situations, and so it's always good to get in touch with us as early as possible. I'm Alan Long from the Long Partnership, making life less taxing.